Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink. This video is part of a blog hop for Waffle Flower's July release. I'll have more info at the end of the video as well as in my blog post. There'll also be giveaway info at the end, so stay tuned for that. So I struggled again with this release because so many good stamps, dies, everything. And it's July and I'm not in a Christmas mood, and I usually struggle working out of, season, although Christmas in July is a thing. And I sat and looked at this oversized Mary stamp set, and there's great big die. Like, look at that thing. Love it. And I couldn't not just dive into this first with all the other stuff being released. That and my white, gold, and black kit, which I've been doing for years because I actually did snowflake cards years ago. I remember them. I did them in white and gold and black. Maybe that's what started it all. Who knows? So anywho, I have two card bases here. Black cardstock. These are standard A2 size cards. So you can understand just how big that Mary... The stamp in the set is the same size. And then the wafer die, it's huge and I love it. So I started with these card bases and I used my anti-static powder tool on them. And then I am stamping all the snowflakes from that set with clear embossing ink. So I've stamped each of them once. And then for this round, I am coating them with some detail white embossing powder. And then I'm going to heat set that. So with these, I'm just doing everything kind of in one step. Because at this point, I was still kind of like, how am I going to, what am I going to use? How am I going to make this look the way it's looking in my head? And for these, it was the white embossing powder first. And then I'm going to do a second round with gold embossing powder. So melted everything with the white first. You definitely want to make sure that when you're switching embossing powder colors, melt the first round. I could have let this all sit and then added gold. I thought about that, but I was like, when you pour on the gold, it can knock off a bit of the white. I don't want to start contaminating my embossing powders. So melted everything first, and then I just did a second round quickly. Use my anti-static powder tool, stamp the snowflakes again, and then I'm going to stamp them or heat emboss them with gold. And I put all my stamps onto individual acrylic blocks. I do have quite the collection after doing this for as many years, and plus I did, those professional videos back in the day. I have quite a few acrylic blocks and they come in handy. And I like them for things, especially when it comes to snowflakes. I prefer having them individually rather than on a platform or a misty or anything like that, because in this way I can, move them around, and then every card isn't exactly the same. They're, a little bit different, a little more personalized, and I really like that. Even when I'm making, multiples. I only made 2 of each. I'm going to make a couple more right away here. But I could have made way more, but this was enough to kind of just dip my toes in the water of what is Christmas card making season. And really I need to start early because I'm gonna have a ton to send out to patrons and whatnot. Anyway, so I did the black ones, and then I was like, ooh, white would look really great too. So that's what I did. I have 2 white card bases. I gold heat embossed the snowflakes like the other ones, and then I use just black ink. I'm using my VersaFine Clair NOCTURNE ink and stamping the snowflakes in black, and I love it. I love each one for its own. I love the black with all the embossing, and I love the white with the gold embossing and the black. They both are just, there's something about this combo that just gets me every time. And of course, this time I'm adding splatter because you gotta. So I have my Gansai Tombi Starry Colors, and I'm using the gold on the far left, which is one of my, they're all my favorites. I love them all. Love them all equally. It's like my kids. You can't choose a favorite. So I used that gold, sprayed it with water, let that sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to start mixing it up. And then I decided I'm going to pull out my little splat box here because I'm working on my Waffle Flower water medium out, which cleans up like a dream. But when I start doing splat, I literally, I got splat, even with the splat box, I've got gold splatter on the floor. I get it on my, I get it everywhere. I should be wearing pretty much a hazmat suit. Hazmat suit and on the walls. I'm like an episode of Dexter or something. Anyway, I'm getting totally sidetracked. It's been a long day. Used my splat box, splattered these cards with the gold watercolor, and it just gives it, that extra something. So set each one in, splattered it, and then I'm going to set all of these aside to let them dry, because that is always my biggest downfall with anything. I like to touch it with my fingers to see if it's dry, and 9 times out of 10 I will smear it. So I'm getting a lot better at like setting them aside and then going to work on, you know, another element of the card or work on something else. So in this case, I set them all aside, and then I'm doing all my die cutting, because by the time I'm done my die cutting, those will be completely dry. So this large die managed to just fit on the plates for my Gemini Go, which I really like, because then I can do a whole bunch of die cutting. And while it's running through, because this is an electric machine, while it's running through, I can cut the next piece of cardstock. And that's what I was doing. So it just kind of speeds up the whole process. It's like it's kind of doing the work for me. So really love this machine. I don't think I've actually shown it on camera. I've had it for a while now. A really good friend of mine surprised me with this. It was like the ultimate gift, and I'm still just like, I pet this thing every time I come into my office, which is multiple times a day. But it's usually off to the side because it is plugged in. So I kind of had to like move my plug in just to show it on camera. But anywho, this die fits in it. And I showed a couple different ways to do the plates, which I got sidetracked by talking about petting my machine. Anyway, with the Geminis, you can go clear plate, cardstock, die face down, magnet sheet, plastic shim, clear plate, and run that through. It doesn't matter whether it's face up or face down. It honestly doesn't matter. Or you can do the way they recommend it, which is clear plate, plastic shim, magnet plate, die face up, cardstock to be cut, and the clear plate. Either way works. Like in the end, it's the same thing. It just depends on how you're putting it together. And with me, it just depends on my mood. And then you can flip it around either way and run it through your machine and you're good to go. So highly recommend. I have a previous video showing like the Gemini Junior and the Gemini and like comparing them, etc. And they're amazing machines. Like cannot go wrong. So anywho, did all of that. I stamped the insides of my cards using Delicata Golden Glitz ink, just with the snowflakes, because that same thing. The splatter had dried, so then I stamped the insides of the cards and then set those aside to let the insides dry, because the Golden Glitz is a pigment ink and it takes a little bit of time to dry, not long, but a little bit. So same thing, let those dry, and then while those are drying, I'm now going to adhere all of these die cuts together. So for each card, I die cut 2 layers of black cardstock for the black cards. So I've got 2 layers that I adhered with my Tombow Deluxe adhesive. And then once I've got the 2 layers, I'm going to add more adhesive, and then I'll adhere the gold glitter that I'd cut. And this was Tonic's Gold Dust Glitter Cardstock. So die cut those, and then that will top the black. And again, you don't have to do this. You could just die cut the gold glitter, you know, and adhere that flat. Especially if you want to like limit how much dimension it is. Just do the layer of gold. That'll look pretty too. I like that extra. It gives it that extra something. So with the gold, it was 2 layers of black. And then with the black glitter cardstock, that's black sapphire tonic card. And again, I'll have everything linked in the description box as well as on my blog. So with those ones, I did 2 layers of white cardstock and then topped with the black. And then off camera, I also stamped the Christmas word from the Oversized Mary set. So I stamped that in gold, heat embossed it on pieces of white and black cardstock. And then I just trimmed it down with my paper trimmer, and then I adhered those right on top of those die cuts with more of the deluxe adhesive. And then since I had everything out while making these, I was like, ooh, pull out the envelopes, plan ahead, because I ain't going to do this when it comes time to mail them, because who's got time for that, you know? So if you're going to coordinate your envelopes, do it at the same time you have your stamps and inks and everything sitting like right in front of you. So that's what I did. I pulled out a couple of white envelopes and a couple of black envelopes, and I stamped these snowflakes with that Golden Glitz ink. It doesn't look like much on the black on my camera, just the way the lighting was, it looks very like, oh, you know, and it looks so nice on the white. It looks gorgeous on the black too. In real life, when the light catches it, you can see that shimmer on the black, and it's gorgeous. Just my camera's not doing it justice, so it kind of looks like crap. But in real life, it looks beautiful. So got all my envelopes stamped, and again, set them aside to let that ink dry. As a final bit of embellishment, I was going to add like either some gold sequins or some gold crystals. And then I was looking at my many containers of crystals and jewels and things. And I have these Studio Katia iridescent flakes. I think these came out last year. They're still available, but I think they came out last year. And Christmas last year, like my Christmas series took such a nosedive. I was so sick. so sick last year. That was the worst. So I'm pretty sure that's when these came out, and I've been hoarding them. Whenever they came out, I've been hoarding them, like literally hoarding them, because they're just gorgeous. But I pulled them out and I just love, I normally wouldn't think of using something like this because they have almost like a pink iridescence to them. But it looked gorgeous with this whole like ensemble with the gold and the black and the white, and the way they looked on the black cardstock. Love it. So I sprinkled these kind of on all of these cards and adhered them into place with the deluxe adhesive and using my jewel picker just to press them into place. And that's going to finish off all of these cards. So I am getting started early on the Christmas cards. Kind of excited about that. Kind of patting myself on the back. Love this set. I've just so many ideas, so many things you can do with it. Snowflakes and large words. How can you not? So with the black cards, I paired them with the white envelopes, and with the white cards, paired them with the black because it just works. You know, the contrast, it's so perfect. So like I said at the beginning, this is part of a blog hop. There's tons of inspiration for this release. All the info about the blog hop will be in my blog post, as well as the giveaway info, supplies, all that stuff. So you can check that out below if you're interested. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye.